Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline for Pixie Dust PhD. It is currently July of 2022, which means this channel is now 29 months old. In this monthly creator update, we'll do more opinions and speculation on Top of the World Lounge instead of just mostly a fact-based video. Here we'll get into the good juicy stuff, and then of course we'll also go over stats and analytics for the lifetime of the channel. Stay tuned. Before we get started with Disney news and Disney Vacation Club opinions and such, I do just want to say that July is my birthday month. I really do appreciate your support and that you're here. That in itself is a gift. But if you want to throw me an extra bone for my birthday, I would also super appreciate if you share any of the channel's content with your friends or colleagues. Or even if you're just on Twitter or Reddit or wherever and someone's talking about a relevant topic, asking questions, maybe drop a link to one of my videos in that thread. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers. I can definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel, and traditionally, my birthday month, I get a nice little boost in subscribers, and I would love for that to happen again. Alright, let's move on. Before we get to DVC, let's touch on some Disney news just really quickly. And by the way, I am filming this on July 11th, and I think this is getting posted on July 16th or 17th, I hope. So whatever happened between those times news-wise, I don't know about it yet. You're talking to past Jacqueline. First, really excitingly, some character dining is coming back, so we are getting characters back at the Ohana Breakfast, at Cape May Cafe, and then Crystal Palace. This is all happening in the fall. I love characters. I think character meals are a good 1-2 punch. Granted, the food is usually not great, but hey, you get to do characters at the same time, so I'm really excited about this, and I hope you are too. I do think it's interesting that we're still not getting breakfast at Crystal Palace. It's only lunch and dinner, which I think is kind of a bummer, because my favorite character dining buffet hack is get a late breakfast seating, get one plate of breakfast food, meet the characters, then get one plate of lunch food. Right now you can't do that. I'm not really sure why they aren't bringing breakfast back. Maybe it's staffing constraints. If you have any thoughts, let me know in the comments down below. Additionally, Disney recently confirmed that they're going to add a feature to help you find your car in the parking lots at the theme parks, as well as Disney Springs, and I think elsewhere in the resort. Normally when we're at Walt Disney World and we have a rental car, I will just private tweet myself or save myself a note of what row and character I'm parked in. So, having all that information integrated into the app seems nice. I know a lot of people also take photos of where they parked. There's a lot of hacks to basically keep track of your car that I think work really well. But I do think from my very biased engineering background standpoint, I do think that integrating it into my Disney experience, I believe Disneyland is also getting this at some point in the Disneyland app, is good. I do think that's an improvement and a good use of the tech, and even if it's maybe not something you're going to ever use because you like the current system you have, I think it's nice that they're introducing this. I do always see people at the end of the nights being lost looking for their cars, so I think it will be helpful. And also I hope it will help out the parking attendant cast members, maybe have to deal with less of the kerfuffle of people not being able to find their cars at night. Those were the two big Disney Parks news items I wanted to touch on. Let me know if there's any news that you want to chat about down in the comments below. Now let's move on to Top of the World Lounge. So I did the more fact-based video. You can check that out. I'll link it here and also in the description below. When I do those sort of news updates, I try to keep my opinion out of it for the most part. It's impossible for me to not say anything, but now in this creator update, a little bit more of a free space to really chat. Before we get into that, I do want to mention that in that video, I think I had insinuated that the blue cards, so full member cards, may list all of your special extra access things. A good friend of the channel, Jill, sent me a picture of her card privately on Instagram, which I'm not going to share for privacy reasons, obviously. But the point is, it doesn't actually list anything. It's just the blue membership card. In retrospect, this does make a lot of sense because what blue members have access to changes all the time, and listing them all out would be very hard, as opposed to listing out just a couple of things resale members or white card members have access to is pretty easy. So yeah, even the temporary cards for blue card full members don't list everything out. Totally my bad. Thanks, Jill, for letting me know. Alright, Top of the World Lounge at Villain's Lair. Like I said, I'm filming on July 11th, so tonight is the first night it is generally open to DVC members. There have been preview events for paid ticket events for DVC members and also the media preview, so I obviously am not down there. I didn't go. I'm not a real DVC member, so I don't have anything personally to show you, but go to your, favorite content creator who would have been invited to the media update and take a look and let me know what you think. I think the Villains themed menu is fun. I mean, some of the puns are a lot better than others, and thankfully they did retain that 7-layer cake that's really famous. They just renamed it, so I saw a lot of people sort of breathing a sigh of relief that the cake is still on the menu. In terms of the rest of the theming, though, I found it to be fine. Or like, honestly, I think some of it's a little tacky. They've just like hung capes up on walls and put some perfectly fine artwork around and hung up capes and like, you know, Facilier's cane, I think, is there at some point. I don't know all the details, but I know from what I've seen, looking at people's pictures and videos, the theming doesn't seem that impressive. And I would rather just be like a clean slate, like beautiful space instead of like throwing villain capes up on walls and stuff. But that's just my personal opinion. Overall, yeah, the theming for me isn't doing it. And over on that actual news update video that I had posted previously, you know, a bunch of us have been chatting back and forth in the comments. I really love to hear your opinions, and several folks, definitely Nat and Jonna, I think expressed that this is a bummer, obviously, but it's still not worth the extra however many thousands of dollars it would have been to buy direct. And definitely having now seen, not in person, but through other content creators, having seen the lounge and the retheme, I totally agree. I agree to begin with. I would have had to pay an extra, I think, $8,000 to buy direct at Bay Lake Tower than the resale contract that we did buy, which is just a ton of money for not that many perks, in my opinion. And yeah, I wouldn't pay $8,000 to be able to access that lounge. Jonna also sort of postulated, like, how strict do you think cast members are going to be when they're checking your membership levels to give out access? And that's a really good, I don't know, what a great question. And on that same line of thought, Sean and an anonymous user, I think they have John Doe, so I'm assuming your name's not actually John. But Sean and this other person mentioned, you know, it'll be really popular and then the popularity will wane off. I totally agree. I think that this is going to be fairly popular for, I don't know, a year, maybe 2 years max. I think 2 years is sort of the normal like DVC member cycle. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if the hype only lasted from now until maybe like January or February, like the first really bunch of months that a bunch of the members are going to go down. And then like, I don't know, it's a paid lounge. You still have to pay for your food and drink items. I guess you do get the free view of the Magic Kingdom and the fireworks, but it's just a lounge. So as popularity dies down, Jonna was basically wondering like, oh, when they check to send you up, are they going to start being more lenient about who they allow up? That's certainly a possibility. I personally hope it doesn't really go that way because those informal things just make me fairly uncomfortable. This is absolutely a personality thing. I like rules, I like structure, I like order, I like being able to point to the rules and say, hey, I'm following them. So, you know, the like lax thing of, oh, well, only full members are allowed up, but like, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, you know, if it's not busy, we'll let other people up. Like, I don't love that, personally. I do think, though, as the popularity of the lounge decreases, they may just revert it back to being open to DVC members, regardless of what you do or do not have access to membership magic-wise. This is what it was in the past, and as per usual, I'm sure Disney has a ton of data that we will never see about lounge usage, how much people were spending, the profits they were turning, etc. I assume it got opened up wider at some point, because more people going up to a lounge that you have to pay for everything means presumably a lot more people buying snacks and alcohol, and the profit margins on alcohol are supreme. So I always thought this was like a good way for them to make money. Now I can understand not wanting to open it up to everyone visiting Walt Disney World, or even just all resort guests, forget all of the day guests, because that's a lot of people and it is a small space. So restricting it to DVC members, whether you're full or resale, is a much smaller pool of people who could go up there at any given time. I am intensely curious about this data because I do think the like per person spend, and I wonder if they have data on who was a real full DVC member versus resale and like the usage there. Plus, I honestly don't know how many cast members it takes to staff the lounge, and so obviously when you're balancing profits and staffing, like that's a consideration. Also, how full was the lounge usually? Like, did it max out? Obviously, on very popular times, I'm sure it did. But like, you know, for example, our past trip, we went in September, which is generally a lower time at Walt Disney World, is a Wednesday night in September that doesn't have like the Halloween fireworks or anything. How many people were going up then? Like, how often was it at capacity? And when it wasn't at capacity, what percent full was it? Was it getting too full, even during low times? Maybe was that a problem? I kind of don't imagine that is the case, but I could be wrong, and genuinely, we just don't know. So yeah, overall, like, I don't really care for the theme, personally. I hope it makes some of you happy who are able to go up there. I think, you know, that's great. I'm not against the theming. I just don't, it doesn't make me want to go anymore. I still feel very strongly that buying resale was the correct choice for us, given where we were at financially, and also just like, I just still don't really think the perks are worth it. I've also had this conversation with a few of you about how I understand that full members paid more money and so they should get more things. I understand capitalism, that's fine. But I just wish the way Disney Vacation Club went about this was giving full members more things instead of taking things away from resale members that traditionally the whole base had access to. I don't know exactly what this would look like, but I think there are creative solutions they're not implementing. For example, with Top of the World Lounge, you could just have, like, for full members, maybe they are able to reserve a table 60 days in advance. And for resale members, maybe it's walk-up only, or you can reserve a table 30 days in advance, or whatever. But then resale members would still be able to access the lounge, of which my understanding in the past was a lot of it's standing room only, so you're not really taking anything away by potentially not getting a table. I don't know. I get that Disney Vacation Club needs to make buying through them directly more appealing. I totally understand. But just the way they're doing it by basically punishing resale members instead of rewarding direct members, like, I don't personally love it. And the last bit about Top of the World Lounge news, and I posted this over in the community tab on YouTube, is they're testing out a paid event. So I believe it's $55 per ticket, and that gets you like a drink, an appetizer, and a suite, and a reserved table at Top of the World Lounge, and a reserved section outside on the terrace for fireworks viewing. I don't have any good comparator of like, is $55 way overpriced for this or not? Because most of those similar like dessert type parties are happening in the theme park, so it's totally different. To me, $55 seems pretty expensive for one drink, an appetizer, and a small dessert bite, and then a table and a specific area of the outside terrace. They are only testing this for 1 month to start out with, so personally I hope it flops. There are ways, I think, with which if the Disney Parks fan base acted collectively and like no one went, no one bought tickets, it would change the trajectory of things. But I know people are gonna go, especially the first few nights. I'm sure it's going to be slammed because everyone needs to review, like, is it worth it or not? As a resale member, I don't have access to the lounge, and so I also can't buy this paid ticket. But even if I did, I can't imagine spending $55 to like guarantee a seat, when otherwise I could just go up and sort of do what I want. I guess for some people having a table is very important, but I would imagine it's a small minority. But again, I wonder if Disney has a ton of like survey data that says people who used to go to the Top of the World Lounge were really annoyed that they couldn't ever get a table and they wish there was a reservation system and they would pay to reserve a table or something. Who knows? Those are more of my unfiltered thoughts, my actual opinions, some speculation in there. Definitely tried to keep that out of the more fact-based video. And, I know I can trust you all. You're a good group. Many of you already shared your opinions in the news video, but if your opinions have evolved or you have reactions to what I said, or certainly I'd like to hear what you think about this $55 paid ticket event to Top of the World Lounge, leave a comment down below. And in general, for small pieces of news like that, like this paid ticket, I didn't think it was worth a full video, so I did post over in that community tab. You can also follow me over on Twitter. That is where you're going to get more Disney news from me. But like I've said before, this isn't primarily a news channel. I don't think everything's worth a video, so if you do like keeping up more with news, and frankly just hearing more of my opinions, give me a follow over on Twitter. Future Jacqueline here. Hey all, it is Tuesday, July 12th, and of course there was more big Disney Vacation Club news, so borrowing is back. We are done with the 50% limitation, back to 100% borrowing effective immediately. I did post a quick short about that. I will link that down in the description below, but yeah, that's the other big news. Not a lot to say here. I think it's all good. We're all excited, so no scathing reviews, no ridiculous opinions. But yeah, borrowing's back. Hooray! Back to you, Past Jacqueline. All right, let's move on to analytics. So we'll start with the monthly analytics for month 29. These will run from June 11th through July 10th. And before we really get into analytics, I want to say that we are at 200 videos now, not including shorts, like real videos. Technically, this is number 201. I had planned it out a few months in advance, actually, to where this would be video number 200, but then the Top of the World Lounge news came up and I decided to make a video about that, so that added an extra video into the count. But yeah, I'm really stoked that we hit 200 proper video uploads. I think that's such a huge milestone for the channel. I'm really proud of the work that I put into it and the community that I found, so thanks. New videos posted during the month 29 period were the month 28 creator update. My partner and I talked about our Walt Disney World table service experiences and really like highlights, lowlights, and best value. There was a trip announcement / pack with me video for when we went to Disney for one day in February. We did the Top of the World Lounge news video, of course, and then the last video that counted in this monthly period was the Disneyland Planning as a Walt Disney Worlder Part 1 video. If everything went according to plan on Wednesday, July 13th, you should have also seen a disability access service video that I uploaded, but that will count for the next monthly period. Looking at the top videos this monthly period by views, first up is the Top of the World Lounge news videos. That makes sense to me. It's a very hot topic in DVC land. Then we've got the consistent favorites of the PhotoPass video and the advanced dining reservation sort of tips, tricks, and live look-in video. There are 4 room tours on this list, and I will say consistently that the DoubleTree over in Universal gets way more views than most of the other ones. I am happy to see the Hilton Garden Inn Anaheim Resort room tour, so that was the off-site hotel we stayed at Disneyland video on this list because I posted it in May, and it does seem to be a slow trickle, but overall, I just basically like that hotel, and I hope other people book it if it suits their needs. And for videos posted this month in the top 10, our top spot there, the Top of the World Lounge DVC News, is the number 1 and posted this month, and then numbers 7, 8, and 9 were all also posted this month. So you can see normally when I post things, I get 100 or so views within the first bit, and then hopefully the content is good enough that folks doing searches in YouTube or YouTube recommending something to them, even if it's a bit older, they'll still watch it. That's definitely what's happening with the room tours. Moving into analytics then, for views this month we got just over 6,100 total views, and that was from about 3,700 unique viewers. These were both way less than last month, but if you recall, last month I had a short that got almost 10,000 views alone, so obviously a bunch of unique viewers, a bunch of views. If you compare this month to months like 23 to 27, the stats look a lot more normal. So last month was an outlier, just remember that. Of those 3,700 unique viewers, 435 are returning, so thank you so much for coming back to the channel. This is almost a record high for me, and it's really great that this number is over 400. It's baffling to me to think that 400 people keep coming back. I cannot even express the thank you so much. These unique and returning viewers, as well as overall number of views, resulted in just over 500 hours of watch time this month. For me, I think that's pretty good. Really anything over about 450 watch hours I'm stoked about. And this month we got about 78,000 impressions, definitely a marked improvement over the past 2 months. Impressions from YouTube decreased a little bit this month. We're at 31.3%, but we're still over that 30% threshold, which is really where I want to be. And watch time from those not subscribed did increase a little bit this month, which is worse. We're at 75.3%, but anywhere between 70 to 75% for a given month seems pretty normal for me. In good news though, we did get 46 new subscribers this month, so that is fantastic. It's not quite a record high, but it's definitely one of my better months on the channel for sure. And it's really nice to get a higher month considering last month we only had 25 new subscribers and I was feeling a little bit down, so back in this 1.5 people a day is great. Moving away from YouTube and looking at other social media for a minute, over on Twitter, I am now following 1,083 accounts and 933 people are following me. On Instagram, I am following 480 accounts and 337 accounts are following me. And I would like to say I posted 2 days in a row on Instagram for the first time in forever, so I am trying. Moving on to lifetime analytics for the channel, we have now eclipsed 100,000 views and we're even past 105,000 views total. That short last month with almost 10,000 views really helped this out. I did not think we would be talking about 105,000 views already. And this has resulted in over 8,600 hours of watch time, so we also broke 8,500 watch hours, which is, again, very cool. A very cool milestone. The channel now has over 1.2 million impressions, and 28.6% of those are from YouTube. And this impressions from YouTube number continues to grow very slowly but steadily over time, which again, I'm really happy with. Watch time from those not subscribed continues to hover around 70%. We did a little bit worse this month lifetime compared to the lifetime last month, but nothing dramatic. And overall, the channel is at 896 subscribers, so very close to 900. Comparing this month to last month, which was month 28, even though last month we got a ton of views and a ton of unique viewers because of that short that exploded, actually stats-wise we did better in a lot of categories this month. Compared to last month, we have more watch hours, higher percent view duration, more impressions, and way more subscribers. Because last month was such an anomaly though, I did go ahead and expand this table out a little bit, so we've got the current month, last month, and then month 27, which was a much more normal month and probably a better comparator for month 29. And even when looking at all 3 of these months together, there definitely still were stats where this month was the best, including watch hours and subscribers. And for the lifetime stats, overall I'm happy with. I think this month in general was pretty good. I'm very much looking forward to hitting 900 subscribers, and we are getting close to 1,000. There's basically 5 months left in the calendar year, which would mean we would need about 20 new subscribers per month to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the calendar year, which was my singular goal for 2022. Of course, I would like to do it sooner than that, And like I said at the beginning, July is typically a month where I get a good bump because it's my birthday, and I don't know if people take pity on me or what, but I'll take it. I'm really looking forward to hitting that milestone, and I'm feeling better that it will happen this year, but hopefully it'll happen before December. Probable upcoming content for month 30 includes that Disability Access Service program video, which hopefully got posted on Wednesday. But again, I'm filming this 2 days before Wednesday, so future, tell me what happened. I think it'll get posted. Then we're probably also going to do part 2 of prep for Disneyland as a Walt Disney Worlder, where we're talking about attractions and technology. Then for the last 2 videos of the monthly period, I'm thinking it will end up being a vlog from my one day down at Epcot in February, as well as a breakdown of the cost of our Disneyland trip. Past that, and or other topics that might get filtered into this month instead, include a discussion that my partner and I have done about our favorite quick service locations for actual meals as well as snacks in Walt Disney World. I'm also working on a Genie Plus overview / how-to at Disneyland and my experience using it. I want to talk about strategies to beat the heat in Walt Disney World in hotter months, as it's quite hot where I live now. It's not quite as sweaty as Central Florida, but yeah, it's something I find myself thinking about more and more. So I think that could be fun to sort of spread my advice and also, of course, hear from you all in the comments. And then past that, I'm not too sure. There are still 2 really DVC content ideas I've had for a while that I just haven't had time to execute. That would be comparing getting 2 studios versus a 2-bedroom, and also contrasting Old Key West and Saratoga Springs. If there's other content you want to see me cover, please don't ever hesitate to leave a comment. If you want to see it, chances are pretty good other people want to see it too. I'm really anxious, honestly, about the Disability Access Service video and the reaction it will get, so send some good vibes. And if the comments are looking kind of mean on that video, I'd appreciate your support in the comment section. I'm guessing I had some things to say in there, particularly about eligibility that some people won't like. But, I went with the official Disney World website information, and mobility-only disabilities don't qualify, so don't shoot the messenger. Anyway, I hope you've been enjoying your summer and are staying safe, healthy, and well. I know it's harder now than ever before in many ways. But take care, and we'll see you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.